I'd like to begin this class by talking a little bit about a comparison between the Yoga Sutras, which is a foundational text for yoga, and the teachings of the Buddha as they're put forward in the Dhammapada, which are the earliest teachings of the Buddha. So there's a saying of the Buddha, very, very early saying that goes, "He hurt me, he insulted me, he hurt me, he defeated me, he robbed me. Those who think such thoughts are not free from hatred." He insulted me, he hurt me, he abused me, he robbed me. Those who think not such thoughts are free from hatred. Now that's a theoretical framework for navigating yoga practice. That's a theoretical framework. Right? So the Buddha is suggesting that we be free from hate. And the way to do that is to not think those particular thoughts. He hurt me, he abused me, he defeated me, he robbed me. Right? Now, the Yoga Sutras in one section makes it really practical with how to actually do that. How do we actually do that? So in the second section of the Yoga Sutras, the portion on practice, the very first sentence reads something like, accepting pain as help for purification. Accepting pain, this is number one, accepting pain as help for purification. Study of spiritual books. And the third one is humbling oneself to the Supreme Being. Constitute yoga in practice, right? Those three things. Accepting pain as help for purifying the mind, studying spiritual books, and being humble or surrendering to the Supreme Being, however you would like to conceive of that, or whatever words you want to put on the Supreme Being, right? Those three things constitute yoga in practice. And the Yoga Sutras go on to say that by practicing yoga in this way, you will be free from obstacles to freedom of mind. And one of those obstacles happens to be hatred. So this is really about how to remove hatred from the mind, and the body, because it's not separate. When we feel hatred, it's not just a mental experience, it's a whole body experience. We feel the heart gets tight, the muscles in the body might stiffen up, we might want to hurt, we might feel stiff in certain muscles, or shoulders might get tight. So it's not just a mental or emotional experience, hatred, it's a whole body experience. So we're using yoga as a means to let go of that obstacle. And what are the practices to do that? Well, the first one mentions accepting pain as help for purification. So whatever pain we're experiencing, right? The Buddha says, he insulted me, he hurt me, right? He defeated me, he robbed me. The Buddha is saying the exact same thing. He's saying, those who think such thoughts will not be free from hatred. So coming back to yoga, how do we do this? Accepting pain as help for purification of our minds. That's the key to our. That's what I want to focus on today. This is what I'd like our class to focus on. All right. So accepting pain as help for purification, purifying the mind, and whatever that pain looks like for you, it might come in the form of hatred or anger. It might come in the form of anxiety. It might come in the form of something else. Whatever form that pain comes in doesn't matter. It's just we're working on. It's a practice to accept that pain. It's a practice. It's not that we do it perfectly. my goodness, we know that we have times where it's almost impossible, it seems, to accept pain in our life. But that's our practice, right? We continue to work towards accepting pain as help for purifying the mind. This is the foundation of yoga practice. So let's start. Let's start by coming to the front of our mat, whatever you choose to have be as the front of your yoga mat. Right? And we'll do 3 sun salutations. Just to begin to warm up the body. All right, so extending the spine up, shoulders down. And check in, where is there tightness in the body? You may not even recognize hatred if it was right in your face. You might not even recognize it, right? But you might have tight muscles here and there. The body feels these emotions, and we might not recognize them with our intellect, but they nonetheless are present in our physical body through stiffness, through pain and aches. All of those things. I'm not saying your pain and achy is directly related to hatred, but there may be some connections there that are worth investigating. When we feel hatred, notice how the body feels at that time, or anxiety, or something else, some other pain. All right, let's bring the palms together in front of the heart. Ready? Bringing the hands towards the sternum, extending the arms forward and up. Back a little bit. You can draw the hips a little forward, bending the knees, and then folding in half. Right, whatever you feel in the body is okay. This is about accepting. Whatever pain that you feel there is okay. We don't want to create more pain, we want to lessen the pain. And part of that has to do with accepting it. Accepting it helps to lessen pain. Let's step the left foot back. And that's really the key to the Yoga Sutras. How do we get from suffering to the end of suffering? That's the key in the Yoga Sutras. That's what it's all about. If you want to suffer less, accept pain as help for purification. All right, let's step the right foot back, downward dog. And I would encourage you to walk your feet in place a few times. Let's just stretch out the calf muscles. Stretch out the calf muscles. All right, wonderful. Let's just draw both those heels down, lifting the tailbone up. We get a little stretch in the back there, straightening the elbows as much as possible. Breathe here. All right, stretching out the shoulders a little bit. Let's come down. Let's bring the knees down, and we'll just take some time here out of sun salutation to stretch the shoulders out. So sliding the hands up as high as you can on your mat and lowering your head down towards the mat. And just feel those shoulders stretching out. Take some deep breaths here. All right, let's come back up. Straighten the elbows. Turn the palms outwards just a little bit, and then lift the knees off the ground. And when you're ready, left foot forward, slide or step the left foot as far forward as you can. Let me know if you have any trouble hearing me, if the audio conks out for any reason, please unmute and let me know. All right. And right foot forward. And get a little stretch to the backs of the legs. Let's bring the hands to the shins or the knees and just kind of extend the spine out, making our body into the shape of an upside down L or a bookshelf. Ready? Okay, and then coming to standing, continuing to lift the arms up overhead. And maybe a little back bend. Here. So I squeeze the buttocks, hips a little forward, engage your core muscles. You don't have to lift your chin up. And in fact, if you do, keep your chin a little tucked, that helps with the blood flow to the brain, I've found in my own body. But check it out for yourself, like how high to lift your chin up. I don't lift mine up very high here, but just a little back bend. Right, just get those shoulders back behind your ears. All right, and then palms come down and in front of the heart.